everybody, this is Monica Lewis, president of J.S. Brown and Company, and today I'm going to let you in on a couple of industry secrets. If you're considering remodeling, before you remodel, I think you might want to check out a couple of these very helpful reports. I'm going to go through the basics of the reports, what they tell you and what they don't tell you, and why they might help you make better decisions regarding your remodel. Now, when most homeowners start a remodeling project, they're typically doing things like Googling, looking for average price for a kitchen in Central Ohio, or who's the best contractor in Central Ohio, or maybe they're watching a lot of HGTV programs, hoping to glean some information as far as average pricing. And they're collecting a lot of photos, whether it's on a platform like Pinterest or House.com or actual hard copies that they're ripping out of magazines. What professionals do is something a little bit different. When we are looking at a potential project with a client and we're trying to get an idea of good budget expectations for them, we rely on our past experience, what similar projects have cost that we've done for other clients, what our gut tells us as far as where pricing is going at the moment and that sort of thing. But we also look at these industry reports because they can back up our gut check and give us a reassurance that we're on the right track when we're estimating projects for homeowners and giving them recommendations on how they might want to move forward. Now, two of my personal favorite reports for pricing reference and for helping clients make good decisions are the cost versus value report, which is now put out by a Zonda publication called the Journal of Light Construction. It used to be put out by Qualified Remodeler magazine. You may have heard of it. And this report gets put out roughly yearly. And then there's also the Remodeling Impact Report, which measures a very different set of values for homeowners and contractors. And that's put out by the National Association of Realtors and the National Association of the Remodeling Industry, both experts in the field that we're talking about right now. I'm going to start with the cost versus value report. I have used this report for years and years and years, and it is a wonderful resource. It's available to everybody. As I said, it's put out by the Journal of Light Construction. You can Google cost versus value report, or you can go to costversusvalue.com, seen here on your screen. And what this report is going to show you are average, that's an important point, average project costs, and compares the cost of the project to the potential resale value that might be added to your home if you do that particular remodel. Now, the data is broken down by region, and this is important because a project that has a high rate of return in New York City or Columbus may not have a high rate of return here in Central Ohio, and something that does great here in Central Ohio may not do well in Florida or Southern California. So the fact that Columbus, Ohio is one of the regions that they survey and track every year is wonderful. This also focuses on market performance. So this has nothing to do with your personal enjoyment of the project or anything like that. It is strictly looking at dollars for a couple dozen hypothetical projects that they've outlined in their report. If you want to get this report, visit costversusvalue.com, as I mentioned, and navigate to your region and download the report. You'll just answer a few questions. What region are you in? What city are you in? When you go to download, it's going to ask you if you're a homeowner or a professional. It'll get a little bit of survey questions that they want you to answer, but you can have your very own copy of this report for free from costversusvalue.com. The key trends we see in this report, and I would say this is pretty consistent year over year, we do see variability in the rate of return. We see in what becomes popular or less popular with projects. What tends to be perennially true is that exterior improvements, things that make your home have better curb appeal, often have a strong resale rate. So what you put into, say, a new front door, a new siding, or a new garage door often recoups you more than you spent. So it's a wonderful investment to take on those things, especially if you're thinking of selling your home soon. What surprises a lot of people is that spending more on large luxury projects tends to get you less percentage of return than a more modest mid-range project does. Now, the reason that happens is that luxury is often done for the current homeowner's enjoyment, and a buyer may not recognize that custom finish as being of value, or that higher level quartz countertop as being of value the way that the owner of the home who remodeled did. Now, the thing to remember is that market conditions and locations are going to really skew this data. A remodeling project in an older established neighborhood where you can't get new homes is going to be valued much higher than in a neighborhood where there are a lot of new homes being built. So it's important to keep those in mind. Some of the things we've seen in the most recent cost versus value, which is the 2025 report, at the time of recording, we still haven't seen 2026. The really high rate of return, like I said, garage door, front entry door siding, those had well over 100% recoup. You were getting more back than you spent. Another surprise performer on here is a backup power generator. As you know, we see strong weather here in central Ohio, and it's not uncommon for the utility to let us down a little bit and for the power to go out. And so that backup power generator also has a strong rate of return. But mid-range kitchen and bath remodels do very well, as do basements. So those are some things to keep in mind as you're considering a project. Now, the thing this report misses, and I always like to point this out, is that this is just their estimate of resale math. It doesn't account for your daily living experience. It doesn't account for your enjoyment for the time that you're in the home. And they really have to average out over all the different variables for construction. They can't really account for a higher quality design, a higher level of craftsmanship, or a better client experience because you're working with a larger or more experienced contractor. It also assumes that you're going to plan to sell soon. So if you live in a neighborhood or an area where the property values tend to go up pretty consistently, and you plan to be there for several years, you will probably get a higher recoup than the report is able to tell you. It can't account for neighborhood variances is the big point here. And so you want to know your area, and you want to know what you're getting into before you start your remodel based on what you see happening in your neighborhood. Now, the Remodeling Impact Report is really exciting to me because what they have taken upon themselves is to actually measure not just return on investment from a financial standpoint, but a return on investment from enjoyment. And what they call it is the joy score. And I just love that they call it that. This report, as I said, is put out by the National Association of Realtors and NARI, and it studies that homeowner satisfaction and how much enjoyment they get from their project after they remodel. How these projects have, say, improved their daily life and their experience of living in their home. The things that seem to matter here, and as we see in the joy scores here, what gets valued by homeowners is not those resale ROIs, things that I mentioned earlier, like getting more than your money back on a garage door or a front entry. While those things do get you a high ROI, they drop almost to the bottom on the joy score. And the things that give homeowners value in enjoyment are better functionality, things that help their storage pain points, or their traffic flow, or their daily use, improved comfort and well-being in the home, and spaces that change the family dynamic, change the way the family lives, and gives us other opportunities. And one of the things we see making a strong increase in value recently over the last couple of years is aging in place and having long-term goals for living in the home. What this report gets to the meat of is that remodeling isn't frivolous. Its value lies in how you live every day. So it's not about having the most trendy color or the in fact cabinet style. It's about changing the way you live and getting more enjoyment every day. Now, these two reports give very different information, and I want to recap that just a little bit for you. The cost versus value report is really helpful if you're trying to establish, if I'm investing in my home, what is a smart decision from a financial standpoint? What are the market trends? What are we seeing get more popular in terms of value, and maybe what are dropping down to the bottom in terms of value? And what kind of budget expectations might I have going into a remodeling project here in my area? The Remodeling Impact Report is going to give you value based on lifestyle. How happy are you likely to be with your home after you do this project? What is it going to do for your quality of life? And what are consumer behaviors telling us about value? What are they choosing? What are they really happy with afterwards? And what does that behavior tell us in terms of how things might be valued down the road? Now, while these reports are super valuable, and I do recommend checking them out, professional interpretation still matters. These reports are broad averages of cost and resale value. Neighborhood values vary wildly, and so do job costs. An example of that, if you're in Central Ohio here where we are, some neighborhoods, I'm going to call out German Village, Victorian Village, areas with architectural review and very old homes that are going to have a lot of challenges. Those projects are going to cost a lot more than projects that are happening in newer areas like Northern Ohio or Northern Central Ohio, like Lewis Center, or in New Albany where there's a lot of new construction going on, or in areas of Westerville. So those costs and values that you recoup are going to vary wildly. Every home is going to have unique design opportunities and unique challenges. So what you can get out of it in terms of value and what you might have to put into it to get your dream project is just very hard for reports like this to predict. On top of that, every family, every client we deal with has different priorities. What they value may not align at all with what these reports are telling us. And the same is true for when you go to sell the home. And so there's no real good replacement yet for skilled professional advice. So if you're thinking you might want good ROI and you're thinking you might be selling your home soon, definitely be talking to a realtor that's experienced in your neighborhood. And if you're thinking you want to remodel, talk to some experienced design build remodelers in your area who can really tell you what design opportunities are available to you for your project and how much they might cost. Start with that conversation. If you're thinking of remodeling especially, find a trusted contractor to guide you. Professional design build remodelers can pull this data in, but then also help you interpret it for your personal needs and your personal priorities and your wish list, some things that you know you might want to have. Some places to help find a trusted contractor would be the Better Business Bureau, trustnary.org here locally. Ask for referrals. Talk to families and friends who have remodeled. Look to neighbors who've done some remodeling projects that you admire and see if you can remember the sight signs that were in their yard, or maybe contact them and see who they used. Visit some industry events. If there are open houses or home tours, check those out and look for certifications and accreditations that are important to you. If you want to work with a certified kitchen designer for your remodeling project, then go to NKBA and find a list of certified kitchen designers in your area. If you'd like to talk with us about a project, I've got our website down here at the bottom. It's www.jsbrowncompany.com. We would be happy to talk with you about your project and see if we're a good fit. And if we're not, we can always refer you to somebody who might be better for the project you have in mind. J.S. Brown & Company is a design-build residential remodeling firm who has been serving Central Ohio since 1978. We are dedicated to excellence in remodeling, and we are the only NARI accredited remodeling company here in Central Ohio. We are only the 13th company, or 12th company, in the country to receive that designation. We're very proud of that. And again, we would be very happy to help you if you have a remodeling project in mind. I hope this video was helpful, gave you some food for thought, and I do hope you go search out those reports. The Cost versus Value report is available if you Google costversusvalue.com. If you're more interested in the Remodeling Impact Report, please contact a local realtor near you, and they can share some of those data findings with you. Thanks for watching. Please like and follow our channel for more informational videos like this. Let us know in the comments if there is any topic that you would like to see covered, and I'll also put some links down there in the comments for these reports and these websites that you might find helpful. Thanks. Look forward to talking with you again.